Welcome to Neural News Hub. Right now, two vastly different futures are colliding on the world stage. On one hand, you've got military brinksmanship and the very real shadow of nuclear conflict. And on the other, the incredible promise of AI being harnessed for the good of all humanity. We're going to break down these colliding worlds and what it all means.
So let's start in the middle of the Indian Ocean. U.S. military forces just sent an incredibly forceful message. Under the cover of darkness, they boarded the Veronica 3, a Panamanian-flagged oil tanker. Now, this was no random stop. This ship was part of a sanctioned network smuggling Venezuelan oil. The Department of War's statement was blunt, basically saying distance won't protect you and that no one else on the planet has the reach to do this. The message is crystal clear: break sanctions and we will find you wherever you are.
And that tension you see on the high seas, well, it's absolutely mirrored by skyrocketing anxiety in Europe. Poland's president has just made a jaw-dropping declaration that Poland needs its own nuclear weapons. He pointed directly at Russia's aggressive imperial stance and said that for a country on the edge of armed conflict, it's a necessity. I mean, this is a massive shift in European security. The old reliance on the NATO shield, it's being questioned in a way we haven't seen in decades.
And look, Poland's announcement isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening because the very bedrock of nuclear arms control is crumbling. The New START Treaty, the last major deal between the US and Russia, is officially dead. It expired, Moscow won't allow inspections, and Washington says any new deal has to include China. So, just like that, the old guardrails are gone. This is exactly why European nations are starting to wonder if they can rely on old promises and why they're talking about building up their own defenses.
Meanwhile, amidst all this instability, a very different, very critical meeting is happening in Geneva. Iran's foreign minister sat down with the head of the IAEA for what they're calling in-depth technical discussions. This is the essential groundwork that has to be laid before any serious nuclear talks with the United States can even begin. These talks could really be the deciding factor between escalation and de-escalation in the Middle East. And while the Iranian minister said he has real ideas for a fair deal, he also put a firm line in the sand, saying submission to threats is absolutely not on the table.
Okay, let's take a deep breath and pivot from a world of conflict to a radically different vision for our future. Over in New Delhi, the India AI Impact Summit is happening. This is huge. It's the first time an event like this has been hosted in the global south. You've got all the heavy hitters there: Sam Altman, Sundar Pichai, and the theme? Welfare for all, happiness for all. Now, that's not just some feel-good slogan. It is a powerful declaration of intent to use AI to solve real human problems, not create new ones.
And you might be thinking, okay, that sounds great, but is it just talk? Well, no. To prove it, the summit is launching actual tools, like Bharat Vistadar. So what is it? It's a multilingual, AI-powered system built to help India's farmers. It puts critical, real-time info about weather, pests, and crop planning right onto their phones. This is a perfect example of taking a really high-tech vision and turning it into something that makes a tangible difference on the ground.
Now, shifting back to the diplomatic stage for a moment, we've got a major financial commitment announced for Gaza. The Board of Peace Initiative, spearheaded by U.S. President Donald Trump, has reportedly locked in pledges for over $5 billion. That money is earmarked for humanitarian aid and reconstruction, aiming to get a UN-endorsed plan for stability off the ground. Of course, $5 billion is a massive number, but turning that into real stability on the ground, that's going to be an incredibly complex task.
Meanwhile, over in Ukraine, they're fighting a war on two fronts. There's the obvious one against the invasion, but there's another equally critical battle against corruption. We just got word that German Galushenko, a former energy minister, has been arrested. It's part of a huge investigation into alleged embezzlement from state energy companies. For Kyiv, showing this kind of accountability is absolutely crucial. It's not just about building trust at home, it's about keeping the international aid flowing that they need to survive.
And now for a rivalry of a totally different kind. At the T20 Cricket World Cup, India just put on a masterclass against their arch-rival, Pakistan. Ishan Kishan was an absolute powerhouse, scoring 77 runs and helping India set a target that Pakistan just couldn't chase, a decisive 61-run victory. What does it mean? It means India has locked in its spot in the Super 8 stage, and it's a huge moment of pride for the nation.
Finally, let's zoom out to a challenge that's going to define the future for, well, all of us: climate change. London is rolling out a new strategy, and it's pretty smart. Instead of just building bigger concrete walls, they're focusing on green infrastructure. They're using things like parks and what they call sustainable drainage systems, or SUDs, to let nature do the work of managing flood risks and extreme heat.
It's all about weaving resilience right into the city's fabric. So there you have it. From nighttime military raids to AI for farmers, from nuclear treaties falling apart to new ways to build climate-proof cities. These are the powerful, competing forces shaping our world today. Please hit the like and subscribe button for more such updates and informative videos.